All right, today we are diving into a really unusual and honestly fascinating document. It's a formal grievance written by a university professor, but let me tell you, it reads more like a declaration of war. It's titled Map of the Brutality of Tyrants, and it lays out this incredibly intense battle one academic is waging against the very institutions he works for. So let's dig in and see what this map is all about.
To really get the gravity of this, we're going to start at the very end. This quote is the final line of the entire document. By closing with this, the professor isn't just filing a complaint. He's basically saying, I am a moral witness and I'm testifying against a broken system. It's such a powerful way to frame everything that comes before it.
So, with that pretty dramatic framing in mind, what exactly are we looking at here? Well, this document is the third statement in an ongoing grievance from Dr. Mohamed Fayad, and as you're about to see, he lays out his case against his university and the faculty union in meticulous and often really searing detail.
At its heart, this whole thing isn't about just one bad day at the office. Dr. Fayad is describing what he calls a systemic campaign, a complex web that he alleges was spun by San Jose State University and the California Faculty Association working together. And he says he's the one caught right in the middle of it.
So how do you even begin to explain an argument this complex? Well, he builds his entire case around a concept he's named the triangle of suffering. And he believes this is the absolute foundation of all the injustices he's had to face.
So what are the three sides of this so-called triangle? Okay, first up, he points to what he calls a racist university administration. Second, a colluding union, one he feels totally failed to protect its faculty. And third, a set of internal bylaws that he claims are basically engineered to allow for injustice. He argues these three things work together perfectly to create this deeply oppressive system he's fighting.
Okay, so from the structure, let's get into the actual people and groups he says are involved. The document maps them out along what he calls two main fronts in this conflict, the union on one side and the university on the other.
And this is where he really lays it all out. On one side, he's pointing the finger at the California Faculty Association, the union, accusing them of betrayal and even siding with the administration against him. Then, on the other side, he alleges that San Jose State University waged a full-on racist war against him, and that it was driven by specific people and committees.
But here's where it gets even bigger. His map of who's involved doesn't just stop at the campus gates. No, it expands dramatically. He lists a staggering 89 individuals and organizations, grouping them all into what he calls an interests network.
And this is a really crucial point. This alleged network goes way beyond academia. I mean, he explicitly names executives from huge tech companies like IBM and Google. He seems to believe the campaign against him blew up into what he calls a public opinion issue, spilling out of the university and into the corporate world.
So, after laying out who he says is involved, the document turns to the consequences. It doesn't just make accusations. It goes on to meticulously detail the specific damages Dr. Fayad claims he and others have suffered because of all this. And the toll he describes here, it's severe. It covers everything from losing his job stability and financial security to what he calls the systemic looting of his professional rights. But what's really crucial here is he argues it's not just about him. He says this has had a devastating impact on his students, literally assassinating their dreams and their futures in science.
Okay, so this statement doesn't just list a bunch of problems and leave it there. It transitions into a call for action. It ends with a really clear, extensive list of demands, a formal call for accountability for everything he's laid out.
And these demands are sweeping. He's asking for a full restitution of his rights and his students' rights. He wants to expose the union as a saboteur. He demands accountability for every single person he named. And then, the biggest one of all, he calls for the complete dissolution of the faculty union itself.
Now, this brings us to his strategy for actually getting that accountability. I mean, how do you make sure a document this explosive doesn't just get buried? Well, to make sure his voice was heard, Dr. Fayad sent this thing to an incredibly wide and influential audience.
Just look at this distribution list. It's absolutely extraordinary. We're talking the governor of California, the FBI, members of Congress, human rights groups, international media, even major banks and the courts. This wasn't just some internal memo. It was a public declaration designed to land on the desks of some of the most powerful people in the country. And then, at the very end of this massive distribution list, there's a final, deeply personal touch. The document is also addressed to his 3 children. It's like he's turning this very public fight into a permanent personal record for his own family.
You know, after going through this whole document, with its triangle of suffering, its map of villains, and this unbelievable distribution list, it leaves you with a pretty fundamental question. When it's one person against an entire system, what does it actually take for their voice to cut through all the noise and for them to be heard?